All right, everybody. I hope you're as excited as I am. I have literally been brought in last minute, but when I saw this panel, I mean, this is the all-star game right now going on. So I think we're gonna have a very fun chat. And we were just talking backstage. I mean, ultimately, meme coins they're the high energy thing in crypto. You know, you have a lot of panels about technology, you know, scaling, and those things are very important. They come into play. But, you know, the fun part that really drives the energy, the capital, the momentum, this cycle seems to be meme coins. I mean, last cycle maybe was NFTs. So maybe let's kind of look at, you know, how it's different this time around. I know Kobe was saying that NFTs are like shitcoins with pictures. Now we still have the picture. There's one picture. Yeah, Haseeb, maybe I'll start with you being the, the serious person on the stage.
Yeah, look, I'm kind of the boomer on the panel, so I'm going to give, in a way, a little bit more of an outsider's perspective. So as a VC, you know, when I saw NFTs start to really take off in 2021, you know, it seemed obviously kind of speculative and kind of crazy. But when I saw the rise of meme coins, obviously meme coins, they really predate what happened in the last couple of years. Meme coins started with Dogecoin and, you know, all this stuff. It's like a couple cycles ago. But the ease of creating meme coins and marketing meme coins and the velocity with which they've taken over crypto trading, that is a really new phenomenon. And every cycle, there's some retail-driven, kind of manic, energetic thing that's happening. And this cycle, it has been meme coins. It does feel to me like meme coins, they are in some way better for the ecosystem than NFTs were, to the extent that NFTs were purely speculative. There were some NFTs that obviously were about art and about collecting something that had real world value, but a lot of it was just pure speculation. And meme coins in that sense are more efficient because there's lower costs to trading meme coins than trading NFTs. You know, OpenSea was taking 2.5% on every single trade everyone made in the NFT boom, right? And in the meme coin world, well, you just pay much lower fees when it's a token. It's much more efficient. Anybody can make one. You don't have to go hire some, random people overseas to like make 10,000 PFPs for you. You can just come up with a picture, an idea, launch it, and boom, the meme coin can start trading. So in that sense, the activation energy to create a new meme coin and get it going, to let the game be played, is lower. And that does feel like there's less free energy escaping the system to middlemen and people who are getting paid to do this kind of stuff. So that feels to me net good and different from the NFT era.
Yeah, how about you, Ansem? Like, do you feel like the NFT season we had in 2021, obviously, you know, I had friends that were just waking up middle of the night, paying $1,000 gas fees. Like that was like another very high energy period. How do you see it now, and which one do you prefer, I guess?
Yeah, I'm terrible at trading NFTs, so I definitely prefer meme coins. But I think historically, meme coins and crypto are representative of internet culture, and a lot of the early Bitcoin, Ethereum guys are directly representative of that. I think if you look at all the bull cycles that we've had in crypto, most of them retail picks on Doge first before altcoins start running really hard. Doge is the one leading almost every time. And it's been around since like 2012. If you look at the top 50 coins in crypto in the past decade, nearly 95% of them have changed, but Doge is always there. I think that's representative of just how crypto values internet culture. And then you had last cycle with NFTs, really these communities forming around people launching these projects. It was a lot more orchestrated, but I think with meme coins, it's even easier to do that. So it's like, with NFTs, you only have 10,000 holders. With meme coins, you can have literally millions. And I think it's really easy for retail to tap into that. Whereas you don't need to understand what an L1 versus L2 versus L3 is, like what a blockchain is. If you just like a picture of a dog with a hat, or Pepe, or like whatever presidential candidate you're attached to, it's like, it's really easy for retail to get into crypto. And it's like, once they have these coins in their wallet, then they start doing research on other things. I think it's really like it's almost like a Trojan horse for onboarding retail into crypto.
Absolutely. Alex, I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
I think people, I think NFTs and meme coins, they target very different audiences.
Different audiences,
it's not that meme coins are replacing NFTs from the prior cycle. It's an entire different thing. It's a different game, and it's a different audience. And another thing on meme coins that I think is very important is the people usually, the audience or many traders underestimate how difficult it is to create a meme coin. If you look at the largest ones, Wif, I don't know the Wif guys, but the other ones, Pepe and Floki, which are the 3 of the top 6 performers of this year, actually, across all crypto assets, they're run by very, very professional teams. So in general, when you see a meme coin doing extremely well, there's a lot of work happening behind the scenes to make that happen.
How about something that's the opposite? Like, you know, maybe the team behind Slurf is kind of making a, I don't know if you guys know exactly what's going on. Maybe it's an act, but it doesn't seem to be like a very professional run organization, right? Unless it was all a big ruse.
I'd say Slurf is an oddity.
It's an oddity.
Yeah, it's something, it's somebody made a mistake and it just happened.
I mean, let's get to a very cool and like interesting question. Maybe Ansem, you can kick off of like, what makes this oddities happen? What makes, I mean, you seem to have an amazing eye for what might do well, what might be a killer meme coin versus someone that's gonna fall flat. What is that secret ingredient?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm good at picking meme coins just because I've been on the internet forever, like Tumblr, Twitter. Before I was even on crypto Twitter, I was online like 12 hours plus, like all the time. But I would say it's like 3 main things for me that determine how well a meme coin is going to do. I would say the first one is like how relatable it is to people. So like the relatability aspect. If nobody, like if somebody who had no idea what crypto is, no idea what any technology is behind the scenes, can understand the meme like in an instant, that's one sign that like you think that could do well. Then I think the virality aspect of it is it's like, with all these meme coins, you need either a group of people pushing it or like some people with a lot of distribution pushing it so that a lot of eyes are gonna get on it in some way. Whereas like with something like voting, it's like that's attached to a presidential election, which is gonna get a lot of airtime this year. So it's like that has a really easy way to go viral because everybody's gonna attach that to the election. Whereas with like last cycle, you had Elon Musk, who's like the richest dude on the planet, talking about Doge every week. So it's at the forefront of everybody's minds. And I'd say like the third piece is probably distribution. So a lot of memes that do really well have extremely good distribution, where it's like the supply of the coin is not concentrated in a few people. Because when that happens, it's like you're kind of capped on ceiling how high it can go because people are just gonna have outsized profits compared to everybody else. But if you have like a lot of holders who have small size in positions, then it's typically better for like long term.
Yeah. Maybe Alex, let's go this way. So something like a coin that has, you know, good virality, there's a lot of talk about left curve, mid curve, right curve, right? And sometimes with meme coins, it seems that to know which one's gonna do well, you wanna show it to like, you know, your girlfriend or somebody who's not in crypto. And if they're like, oh shit, that's a really cute dog with a hat, that seems to be like a warning sign. Do you think going for that type of virality makes sense, or yeah, what do you think works?
I think it makes sense, yeah. But going back to what you were saying, what Ansem was saying before is, I think the single most important thing is, it's actually 2, is, sorry to go back, but it's distribution, extremely wide distribution. And if you think about it, that's how Bitcoin became Bitcoin, extremely good distribution. A coin concentrated in a few hands is going to fail. And the second one is strong hands. So if the early adopters and or the team hold, you have a chance. Without that, you forget about it. It's not gonna happen.
Haseeb, I don't know if you have opinions about this. Or
No, what's interesting is that as an investor, so I don't invest into meme coins. We invest into like boring, layer 1s and layer 2s and other shit that is more technology focused. And the interesting thing is that, what both these guys describe mechanically that makes for a good team or makes for a strong token or strong holder base. The same thing is true in any other category. Right? You want a strong team, you want good distribution, you want some unique angle or idea that's going to resonate with people. So all these things are true in the same way. And so almost, if you think about it, like if you strip away all the technology, you strip away, the other externalities and the offices and the other bullshit that all the other crypto projects that are trying to build technology are paying for, but you keep all of the economic mechanics, what you have left is a meme coin.
Yeah.
And so in some sense, like before a team really ships core tech, before they really have true product market fit, and most things in crypto don't have product market fit. On some level, most things are meme coins until they become something with stronger fundamentals. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's really more of a continuum in my mind than these are the meme coins and these are like the real tech coins. Everything goes through that process in the early stages of mostly being around ideas and consensus building and around constructing the right kind of financial foundation rather than, we start with the technology and we end with the technology.
I mean, even time-wise, attention is such a scarcity in crypto and in the world in general right now. Not everybody has time to read, pages and pages of a white paper. Everybody has time to see like an image or, like a cute meme quickly. How many of you guys in the audience have like read a white paper in the last year? I'm just curious, like have there been a lot of white paper readers? Okay, it's not too bad.
It's more than I thought.
But, let's say that this is like 10% of the population. The teams that you talk about, the layer ones, the layer twos, they're working on all this incredible tech. At the end of the day, maybe they realize that to get to the other 90% that's not going to read the white paper, they need to distill the message into something very culturally engaging.
That's exactly right. A lot of technologists resist that idea. It feels gross to them. It feels like, oh, well, that's not what I got in the game for. I came in here to like write my beautiful dissertation and design my magnum opus blockchain. And the reality is that they can actually learn a lot from the meme coin entrepreneurs and innovators. Is that meme coin effectively is a distillation of the pure go-to-market distribution narrative building part of what goes into creating a successful crypto project. And it's sort of like if you took an L1, but you took like the just almost like economic and mimetic fitness of a strong meme coin, that's how you get an explosive project.
And sometimes, I mean, I guess the one that I've seen you talk about is Near. And I remember on your podcast you were saying that, Ilya was just talking about AI and suddenly like, the price goes up. It seems that even the meme of, without the coin part, just AI, as a narrative seems so powerful that the founders, the strong founders, the good ones are starting to embrace it. And they're like, if the market wants AI, let's talk about AI. And maybe they'll realize that there's all this good stuff underneath.
That's right. I mean, it's also true in normal financial markets. It's not unique to crypto, right? Like when blockchain was very hot in 2017, all these companies started talking about how they were using blockchain, and their stock went up, right? So like this idea that, oh, narratives and memes, it's kind of like this, it's this weird thing that happens in crypto, it's financial nihilism, but in the real stock market it doesn't happen. That's just not true. It happens everywhere, and good business leaders or crypto founders or whatever, they realize what the market wants from them and what it's trying to pull out of them, right? So Ilya realized the market was trying to turn Near into a meme coin, like an AI meme coin, effectively. And he's like, all right, fuck it, yeah, sure. Well, go post a thing of Jensen Huang touching my shoulder, and great, we'll embrace it.
Absolutely. Welcome, Mert. Good to have you on the panel as well.
Sorry, I'm late.
Let's bring you in. I mean, like one of the key questions we were talking about meme coins is, where it operates. Is it on a dead chain? Is it like on a very active chain? Maybe Solana has been the poster child of this entire season, let's say, this entire bull run. How much of it do you think was led by meme coins, and how much of it do you think is the opposite, where, because it was doing really well, the meme coins naturally came out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think probably there's a lot of chains you could have launched meme coins in this past cycle. I think most of them work relatively well, at least at normal loads. I think Solana just made it super easy to just launch anything very simply. And there was already a lot of infrastructure set in place for this. So for example, people remember probably in like late 2021, the craze was NFTs and minting NFTs and spamming to get something through. And after Ethereum, Solana was among the top 2-3 chains in that. And I think a lot of it actually has to do with like the ecosystem teams, like Phantom, really good experience, right? Like Magic Eden, Tensor, et cetera. So the quality of the startups there. And then, so I think the same thing just happened again this time. But now I actually kind of see it happening the opposite way. Like it started on Solana, but now it's actually maybe going over to Base and some other chains is propagating as well. Obviously due to some congestion issues recently. But, I think really you need to first have the infrastructure in place, obviously, to support these use cases to begin with. And then, it did help that we had a lot of ecosystem support. Obviously, Ansem was a big fan of Solana the whole time. So yeah, I think really, I don't think there's like a science to it. It was just momentum, and then we just kept momentum going.
And then the panel is called about, bull market mania, meme coin frenzy, even though, maybe this week hasn't been as much of a mania on the bull market side. But in terms of when it does happen, we get these waves, a lot of it does seem to be driven about, people want to get rich quickly. They don't want to wait 3-4 years, even though they realize that a good investment will play out over that time horizon. They're seeing, people minting Ferraris just off the cuff. How do you see it, Ansem? And like, do you think that it's really important to, avoid coins that are being, let's say, industrially botted, like sniped, or kind of, very, or how does MEV play into this?
Yeah, I would definitely say I think how much meme coin activity there is across every single chain. It's kind of like a call option on the degeneracy of retail and markets. So it's like there's a lot of people who have realized that like whatever 9 to 5 they're working, they're not going to save enough just by doing that to like retire or whatever at their certain age or like that they want. So crypto is like, I know I can possibly 100x, 1000x in a short amount of time, which is not like representative of all of crypto, but it's one piece of it. Like that aspect that you can make money on the same returns that VCs typically do in traditional markets is appealing to retail. I think on the other side of it, what you said, like the coins that are botted early and like do 500 million volume in like the first couple of days. So what's happening now is typically the meme coin devs just like don't have a ton of money, launch a coin, might have a good idea, it'll sit like in the 100K to 1 mil range, and then the ones that pick up attention from people will end up doing well. But what's happening now is like there are teams that have realized they can launch meme coins, and they're like, teams with a lot of money, and they're just like, well, if we can launch this from zero and take it to billions while we do that, instead of trying to fund a project, fund a dev team, whatever, if we can come with a good idea, good marketing, and just launch it, there's a lot of teams doing that now. So that's why you'll see some meme coins come out of nowhere, and it's already like, how is this a 200 million market cap in a day? That's why that's happening. It's because there's teams like that are doing that.
Alex, do you think these kind of new tools we're seeing, Pump.fun, these abilities to just let anybody launch meme coins and see if they do well, do you think this is going to be a short-term lived hype, or is this maybe going to be the future where people just automatically want the tools to launch these things, and that'll be how things go?
It's really easy to launch a meme coin.
It's really easy.
And that's the way it should be. Yeah, I think it's a trend. It's just going to get easier and easier and easier. We started with Solana, now Base. Eventually, the way I see it is every single chain is going to have their own meme coins. There's actually quite a few chains missing meme coins right now, and it's going to happen. At the same time, something else is most meme coins launch and they round trip, and basically within hours or days, you are if you get in a few hours late, you're down 99%.
Well, so I'm curious to get your guys' perspective on this, because like the last cycle it was NFTs. NFTs were like the crazy speculative thing, and it probably end to end about 2 years, the full NFT kind of retail frenzy. Do you think that meme coins are like the last and final form? They're going to stick around forever, or is this like, okay, we've got 2 years of this meta, and then it moves on to like whatever the next thing is going to be?
I think it's not going to change.
You think it's not going to change?
It's
meme
not,
coins forever?
It's not going to. Yeah, it's Doge. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
And SHIB has been around since summer 2020, February 21, and it's still there, and it's huge, right? It's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that like it will always be around because it has been around for a while. Like Doge, SHIB, etc. These are essentially meme coins. Like obviously the attention around them might shift up and down, but like to the earlier point about the technology, like should they be this easy to launch? It's like absolutely. Like the tech should be as frictionless as possible, and then the markets can do their things. I don't think it can obviously go up forever, or there's always going to be high volatility there. But like, I think actually Ansem said this on one of my podcast episodes. It's basically like just a way of speculating on like before you would do like these weird meme things like the Harlem Shake and into like social capital, and then now you can actually literally financialize that and predict like what the big next memes are going to be, etc. So I don't think that ever goes away. although the volatility will obviously be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, if you just look at the internet, do you ever expect memes on the internet to go away? The answer is obviously no. So I think just the trend is that we're financializing that with crypto. It just makes it easy to turn whatever meme that's existed, could be 3 years old, could be 10 years old, whatever, turn it into a coin. I think that's going to continue to happen because more and more people are going to be on social media. As Mert says, all these trends that continue to happen, like stuff goes viral like that. I think a lot, when that happens, you're going to have coins attached to all these viral trends across different social medias. And the people that are going to be betting on that is that Gen Z group, that young group who's online all the time. And it's going to be easy for them in their head to be like, oh, I think that's going to go viral. I can make money on that. Okay, I'm going to buy this coin. I think a lot of kids are going to be doing that for sure. And then the combination of like NFTs, I think NFTs and meme coins are actually going to be closer or more closely linked than they are now, like in the future. We've kind of saw a little bit of it with the ERC, I think it's 404s. Essentially where you have NFTs, but they can be fractionalized into coins. So you can either hold one entire NFT or you can hold some coins which make up the NFT. I think that's going to be a more, like a trend that keeps happening for sure.
Yeah, the 404s was, it looked like a really good contraption there. It was sort of like a slot machine. You can kind of like refresh your coin until you get a good one. I mean, there's a few categories of meme coins, something that I've dug into. And it's quite interesting. You have something like Wif, which is let's call it a pure meme coin.
Yeah.
And then you have a category like Bonk, which is, it's really a community building tool where the distribution was very carefully done. There's nothing to snipe because it was sort of airdropped carefully to developers in the Solana ecosystem. It does seem like the ceiling is maybe higher for the first one, but the floor is higher for the second one, or maybe
The thing about Bonk is that they have the Bonk bot. And the Bonk bot basically generates $500,000 in revenue every day that gets used to buy Bonk. So if you think about it, it's not really a proper meme coin. It's a DeFi product packaged in a cute dog that bonks you,
It's getting very political here. So Bonk is not a meme coin, everybody. It doesn't qualify. There's too much fundamental revenue going on.
Yeah, I think we used the term like culture coin once and got trolled for it, but like Bonk's story is pretty crazy. Like people don't know. Basically, during the FTX collapse in 2022 December, basically a bunch of people from Solana were like, okay, we can't let the ecosystem die. Let's just pull some money together and distribute it to all these different communities. A lot of developers actually as well. And the developers actually use this for hackathons and building new projects. So it was actually used for productive activities. And obviously, then people started speculating. And then actually my co-founder, for example, the airdrop was $800. And he sold it 1,000, and then now it was I don't know, 200,000 or something. But so it's not like Bonk is kind of different than that it's just, as Alex said, there are it's like a self-startup in a sense, where the coin is what they use to fund themselves. But there's obviously different types of meme coins. The way I like thinking about it is, Tushar from Multicoin said, maybe this is more akin to crypto gaming than what we were expecting. Maybe it's not skeuomorphic such that it's, you just play I don't know, Legend of Zelda and then you add crypto to it. But maybe this is actually crypto native gaming because people are just having fun ultimately, as long as you're aware of the risks, of course. But yeah.
How about you, Ansem? I mean, Wif is probably the one that's more, for the people. They didn't have to get airdropped at the beginning. Is that something that you think just has a much higher ceiling?
Yeah, I mean, I think Wif has done really well because a lot of the early holders literally bought it at 100K, under 100K, 150K market cap. And it was just trading there for a few weeks. But since so many holders were generated in that amount of time, it's there's a ton of people who are up over 100X, 1000X. And they're that's Wif is their coin now. So in the same way that you have the really strong Ethereum community, because they did the ICO or bought it at $10, those people are diehard Ethereum fans basically forever. It's the same way with Wif and those coins. And you don't really have a team that can mess anything up. So it's with Wif specifically, the dev actually sold all of his coins like really, really early. So dev didn't have any coins. It was basically all to the community. And there's nothing really, there's no fundamentals attached to Wif. The only thing that makes Wif go up or go down is like how much attention it's getting and how many new holders it's getting versus how many people are cashing out their early profits. So it's like if you can spread Wif from 50,000 holders to 500,000 holders, it's like that's the only real metric for how high it's gonna go. Whereas stuff like Bonk and other coins that have real revenues attached to them, you're always gonna have people being like, oh, well, the P&E of this is this, and they're making this much, and now they're not making this much because trading activity is down. And you have a team that's getting paid out also, so it's like, there's different factors, whereas with Wif, it's literally just like how viral is the meme gonna go.
Yeah. I mean, conversely, Haseeb, like you're managing, external funds. You probably don't want to go to your LPs and say that you have a pure meme coin. But what would it take for you to include in your portfolio, something like Bonk or something that has a real fundamental side?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentals is a spectrum, I guess. So it's funny, I tweeted a while back asking people, like other VCs, if they invest in meme coins. So we have, our last fund was like $600 million, right? So we have a lot of institutional LPs. They read our newsletters, they read what we buy, and if we buy some meme coins, I'm going to get a lot of phone calls of like, what the fuck are you doing with my money? There are a few venture investors who I know who did actually invest in a meme coin. So most notably, One Confirmation invested into DGen, which is I guess it's more akin to Bonk, but for the Farcaster universe. And apparently they're up like 100x or something on that investment, which is a pretty fantastic venture-like return. Of course, there's no liquidity, they haven't invested, so whatever. All of it with a grain of salt. I guess, honestly, I don't think I have a good answer yet because I don't know what I would need to see. I would probably need to see that my LPs would not immediately kill me. That's number one. I don't know how I would be confident in that. But two, I think I would need to have something a little bit more coherent that would make me really confident. So, I asked this question of, do we think that meme coins are the last and final form? I don't know that, I actually have low confidence in that. It feels to me like people play the meme coin game because it's fun, because numbers are going up, and everyone feels like they're making money. And when, NFTs also felt the same way. Numbers are going up, people were having fun, they felt like they were all making money. A lot of my friends lost a lot of money in NFTs when things stopped going up. And it stopped feeling so fun, and the game kind of collapsed pretty quickly. And I think crypto has this way of the game keeps migrating. It can never quite stay the same because if it does, it sort of gets over-harvested.
Yeah.
Right? Like there are kind of too many people launching these like bullshit meme coins and kind of fleecing retail. There are too many bots. There are too many like middlemen who are going in as these like meme coin marketing agencies. And pretty soon, there's just too many places where people are clipping little pieces on the side, and the game is sort of being, there's too much profit being taken at the casino.
I mean, let's talk about that, Ansem. I saw you nodding a little bit. So this is maybe a taboo question, but on the concept of taking profit, you mentioned, things are up 10x, 100x, something like Bowden, there's an election and then maybe there's less attention on the Bowden coin. How do you think about taking profit when things have gone well in this mania? Yeah,
so I kind of have a general, I guess, outline for how I do it. Most of my portfolio is in regular stuff, like spot stuff. So 70% I would say is like whatever, Solana, Coinbase stock, Bitcoin, stuff like that. And then like 30% of it is that's when I'm doing all the degen, like trying to catch heavy rotation with each new narrative, like the perp stuff, like all of that, and like on-chain, like meme coins, all that. So if you have a meme coin, say you put like 1% or less than 1% of your portfolio, goes up 100x. Your portfolio is doubled now. So that's just off one play. What you typically should be doing throughout bull cycles is rebalancing that into your safer plays as the cycle goes on. But it's really, really hard with meme coins to play them optimally, because if you hit one of the ones that's like the leader for the cycle, if you take profit at like 10x and you take profit a lot, you're gonna think like, wow, if I would have held all of that, I could be up 1000x plus. So it's really just a way, it's honestly the hardest part about trading meme coins when they do really well is the mental part of it. So it's like, you need to be taking profit on the way up, but you gotta just think that that's really the only scenario for you. Because if you think like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done this, I could have done this, you're gonna end up round tripping things all the time.
People know your addresses. right? So they can see what you're holding and when you're holding them, right? So I mean, as a VC, people know, they see our addresses on chain. So when we sell, it's like a market event. That must also be true for you.
Well, they don't have all my addresses.
Okay.
They have some of them. I give
got
them
it.
some of them, but yeah, it is for sure. Like, oh, Z sold this. I've got to sell now. So yeah, for sure.
And Alex, how do you think about this? And side question, you know, when things are down a lot, right? Like you have periods where things flash crash. When there's no fundamentals, is it still the same thing where you can buy the dip and, you know, buy the blood in the streets, or does it mean that that meme coin is probably dead and, you know, you're looking for a new one?
Depends, but on profit taking, the issue with profit taking is that if you have a very large position, you can't take profits because you kill the project. That's something that's very important in meme coins. The other one is on buying the dip is, depends on how big it is. If it's Wif, you can. In fact, I'm looking at Wif as one of the main things once Bitcoin flashes soon, I think, 60,000. Wif is a very good asset to buy because it has, it's a good asset. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, yeah, no fundamentals, but it bounces hard and it's very high quality, in my opinion, Solana beta. But most coins, you do not want to buy the dip because if they start dipping too much, they're going to zero. So it's different. You don't want to buy the dip in most meme coins.
Okay, so don't buy the dim on most meme coins, just the really strong ones that have hats on. Mert, I want to ask you a little bit of a different question. So, you know, Solana, for example, has done an incredible job of getting all the attention and bottling it up through the meme coin mania. How do you think about using that attention productively into maybe the other things going on in the ecosystem, the, you know, Fire Dancer, all these other things coming out? Is that a way to funnel that attention?
Yeah, I mean, there's already an example of this, right, with the Solana Mobile Saga phone, where, you know, the sales kind of stalled out for a bit, and then certain teams, like Bonk, for example, incentivized that all holders get a Bonk airdrop, and then it sold like crazy. Like, I think it sold more in like the first week than the entire past like year, and then a few multiples of that. And so obviously it's the Solana mobile phone. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's a long shot, but the meme coin, the attention that you received from that coin helped potentially start a mobile development ecosystem and get these for app developers on mobile, give them some guaranteed users that already have these things. And then perhaps like my favorite thing about meme coins by far, and it's a similar analogy to the 2021 NFT season. You know, Solana used to have some outages in 2022, 2021, et cetera. And most of that was actually due to NFTs, okay? So like people would really, really bid these JPEGs for some reasons that I don't quite get. And it would actually overwhelm the validators. And so Solana actually added like local fee markets, different networking protocol altogether. And then now, it's obviously still not perfect, but now the outages have been stabilized. And then now the problem is there's some bugs which surfaced due to meme coins, right? And then there was something called OR, where it's like proof of work mining on Solana. And the thing I like the most about meme coins is they stress test like the hell out of the network, because so many people want to make so much money. The incentives are like basically to break the chain, and so it's a free load test for the chain. It also generates revenue for the validators, and then the validators obviously are more profitable and sustainable. But then also, like the DeFi teams on Solana, you know, like Ellipsis, Drift, etc. These teams all get to test their integrations, and you know, I think like Tolly says basically something along the lines of like it's much better to test these with like, you know, Joe Bowden and Elizabeth. I'm gonna say.
Let's not say that one. Let's not say that one, please.
It's much better to test it with those than with like, as opposed to when like real financial institutions and like much more serious use cases come. So we can squash these bugs due to the meme coins and then be much better prepared. And so like when builders get like upset, like, oh, I'm not getting any attention because meme coins are all people want to do, it's like, well, actually, the meme coins are just meme coins. People just want to have fun. You can leverage those to drive more attention to your products and stress test your systems and actually use them as somewhat of a positive.
Yeah,
I mean, I gotta say something there. If you're losing market shares to meme coins, you have a problem, right? I mean, it's not the meme coin fault. It's that your product is not really a good
Absolutely. Ansem, I just thought about something you mentioned backstage. You're a big sports guy. I know you have the fight night tomorrow. A lot of people will be watching that. When it comes to fundamentals of meme coins, what we've seen in the past is that the developer or the representative of a certain meme coin beating up the other guy can be very bullish or very bearish if you're on the other side. Are you seeing an analogy between meme coins and sports? I mean, in some way, the water cooler talk in crypto space, instead about sports, is about meme coins. Is there some analogy there?
I'm not sure if it's specifically sports, but there definitely is like relationships between coins and the people who are talking about the coins. So it's like last cycles, like I said, Elon and Doge. Elon would tweet about Doge price would go up. Elon would mention it on whatever show he was on, Doge price would go up. And it was like attached to him very, very, very closely. So I think what crypto is kind of discovering this cycle is also not just meme coins, but also the social fi projects. And that's like where you have some creator, influencer person on Twitter or whatever app, and they kind of like, you have coins that get attached to them, whether it's directly through an NFT project or indirectly through whatever they're supporting. It's like, if that's a trusted individual and they're talking about these things, then there's a group of people, if you have enough distribution, that are like, oh, I also trust that and listen to this person. And then on the flip side, it's like, well, if somebody loses credibility, just like in the same way where if like a VC invests in these projects and then later you only found out this VC is doing like not so great things, people also attach that VC's reputation to the projects they invested in. So I think it's more of like a social finance connection type of thing. It's very like new, but I definitely agree. Like there are people like, yo, if Ansem wins, we're buying Wif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only have a couple of minutes left. Let's get some final thoughts maybe from everybody. Haseeb, I don't want to ask you which meme coins you're most bullish on going forward. So maybe can you, one question that would be interesting, when you look at crypto investment, it's not exactly like a stock that gets listed on NASDAQ. I mean, maybe some of them will, but for the most part, the monetization happens through a coin. And you can, as you said, it's a spectrum between meme coin, but it can have fundamentals. If one of your portfolio projects wants to capture the financial DCF of their project in a mascot coin, would that be okay with you?
I mean, I'm never going to say no to somebody trying something new, but I would say, like at the end of the day, the kernel of what makes meme coins work is that they are fun, they're light, and they engage your community. If you can do that regardless of what form your project takes, you're probably going to do well in crypto.
I love it. Ansem, just to kind of get some people starting to scramble on phones, there's some memes that don't have a coin yet, like on Tumblr and other places. Are there any that stand out to you that don't have a coin yet
memes?
for the next 5 seconds between somebody makes it?
Dang, I don't even know off the top of my head. I think well, I'll give a relatively new one. So one that didn't have a coin until recently, one of the oldest Bitcoin memes is like the magic internet money meme. So like the wizard with the hat, so like MS Paint meme. It was very popular on Reddit when in Bitcoin's early days, Bitcoin was trading at like $30 when the meme came out. Actually, the Doge founder found out about Bitcoin through this meme on Reddit. And it's like this wizard. So the dude that made that meme has recently made a meme coin on Bitcoin, which is going to be the runes, the new protocol on Bitcoin. It's called Wizard. So that's a relatively new one. But that's something that's like, it existed 10 years ago. It didn't have a coin until a month or so ago. So there's a lot of situations like that where it's like the total addressable market for meme coins is the entire internet. Anything that was viral or popular to people. I think it's going to continue to happen a lot this cycle.
Love it. Alex, any final thoughts?
Yeah, my parting thought would be, if buying meme coins, wait for large holders to dump. Otherwise, you will very likely lose money. Have to be patient, either very early or very patient. Just following Jordi or following your friend or your chat room saying, oh, look at this funny meme, is eventually, it's a matter of time and you are underwater.
The whales matter a lot, even more than in something like Bitcoin. Mert, any final thoughts?
I mean, just have fun, really. Don't take it too seriously, have fun. Don't put in stuff you literally cannot afford to lose, obviously.
Yeah.
check the chain, right? Check if, you know, I mean, even when you're having fun, check if the dev just has like a 99% of the supply or something, right? Like just basic things. Check the explorers. Some of them, like Solana, there was like this thing called Banana Miner where like it was literally like, we're gonna rug you, and then people were still going. So like, I've lost faith. But you know, check the chain, have fun, and don't put in what you can't afford to lose.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yep.
All right, great job. Look at that, Alexander Jordi stepping in to save the day. Fantastic. All right, Ansem, thank you very much for coming out and joining us today. Good job. All right, Krüger. All right, good, and he made it. He made it.